Let's move on and talk about the process of filming your very first YouTube video. I advise you allocate sort of an entire day to doing this. This will release the pressure that is already high on you. You're probably already feeling a lot of pressure about getting in front of the camera. You don't know how good you're going to be, how many mistakes you're going to make. So allocating a significant amount of time means you have plenty of time to achieve this task you've never done before. There's a few sort of protocol steps that I recommend following for creating this video, and then I'll move on and talk about how long it takes me to now make a video after making almost 350 YouTube videos at this point. So you want to first, as we said, allocate a full day to this very first process. Then you want to go ahead and you want to make sure that you have your camera completely charged. You want to fully charge all of your batteries before you start. So the day before, make sure everything's ready to rock so you're not wasting time. I also advise, potentially if you can, to purchase additional batteries. So have between 1 to 3 batteries, because if you have something like a Canon M50 or a mirrorless camera from Sony, the battery life on those cameras aren't the greatest. So it means you could be filming, getting in the flow, finally starting to do a good job, then the camera runs out of battery and you gotta wait an hour or so before you can pick things back up. I remember very well filming my very first YouTube video. I was 19 years old, I'm now obviously 21 filming this video today, but it was a very enjoyable and new experience. And I knew from that moment then that I wanted to continue doing this and building out multiple channels and doing all this online content creation. If you compare Ben Rowlands back then compared to Ben Rowlands you're watching today, it's a complete transformation. My ability to present to the camera and the confidence on the camera is much greater. And it is important that this is a skill that you develop through time. Even though my very first YouTube video is nowhere near the quality of what I can produce right now, it has still been quite successful on my channel, and it has amassed around 20 to 25,000 views, and every single day it continues to bring in new viewers and subscribers to the channel because it's relevant evergreen content. You then want to go ahead and check your audio levels on your camera. This is the biggest mistake that you could make, and trust me, I still make it sometimes today. You want to check your audio levels before you go ahead and spend an hour or whatever filming your video, because the worst thing you could do is have white noise, hissing, or over distorted audio when you're talking into the camera. Even though video and visual is important, filming in HD, 4K, all these buzzwords, if your audio is awful, no one's going to watch the video. You could film in standard definition, but have the best audio and people would rather watch that. There's studies online that prove audio is the most important part of video. So you want to make sure you set your levels on your camera, do a few tests, plug the SD card into your laptop and then listen back to those and make sure it is clean as you can possibly get it in that moment. The next thing I advise doing is switching your camera from auto into manual mode. Now this may seem like a huge daunting step, but it's very important and I think the benefits are definitely worth it. Using audio on your camera is perfectly fine if you are a vlogger and you're going between different rooms, in and out, different environments. Audio is going to make your life dead easy because it's just going to change the brightness, ISO, shutter speed automatically. But if you're filming in a stationary environment like this, a talking head video, manual is the way to go because you have complete control over the ISO, shutter speed, and a variety of other things. I already have a complete class here on Skillshare that breaks down the basic camera settings that you need to know in order to create YouTube videos. And I highly recommend checking out that class next so you can get confident with your camera settings, frame rates, and all those different types of things. The next thing to understand is that editing is going to be your best friend when you are filming. So when you capture a video, obviously, I think a lot of people have this conception that you nail it in one take, and then you go ahead and just add your B-roll on top of the timeline where applicable, and then you go ahead and you can upload this to YouTube. When in reality, what happens is you click record, and you can record for as long as you like until you nail it. And then when you're editing your video, you can go ahead and chop it up, and then have your much shorter timeline that is the final video that gets uploaded to YouTube. So you can make mistakes all along the way here and then just completely remove those in the final edit. And this brings us on to my current workflow when it comes to creating YouTube videos. So my current workflow is as follows. Bear in mind, I've probably filmed between like 350 plus videos on YouTube, forgetting all of the other videos I've created for online courses in that number as well. Currently, for me, using the outlining method for my script, it takes me around 20 minutes to 30 minutes to film the talking head segment of my footage. So talking head is this exact shot here, like me talking to the camera, and I like to call this camera A. So camera A is completed in this time period. I will then go ahead and capture my B-roll, which is the most important part of my videos and how engaging they are on my tech channel. B-roll is the footage that you place on top of your camera A footage. So things like product shots, close-ups, just stuff that will help articulate your point that you're trying to make within the video. It may even be charts, graphs with data on, or a PowerPoint, whatever your style of content is. Another way to use B-roll is to hide mistakes within your presenting. So if I were to nail a sentence and then the second sentence was a bit jumbled and I messed it up, I could go ahead and place B-roll on top of that mistake and then connect the two clips together. So let's say you were filming and you nailed the very first sentence, but you followed that up with a mistake. You could go ahead and just cut part one of that sentence in your video editing software, then overlay that with a clip of B-roll. And then you could take the second attempt at the follow-up sentence that you nailed and just stick that together. And there you have a perfect sentence, and the person listening has no idea that underneath this, it has been healed with a cut. The next thing I do once I've completed the B-roll and also the camera A is I'll hop in to my video editing program. And this is where I will spend probably around an hour, maximum, around an hour doing a rough cut. So I'll take all of these clips from camera A, edit it like this, part one, part two, removing the mistakes, and then I will have a complete sort of YouTube video that how it's going to flow. And then from this point, I'll go back and film more B-roll for any shots that I may have missed or need to add because the ones I captured weren't too great because the autofocus was freaking out or whatever. So I'll go ahead and do a B-roll 2.0 to get my final clips, and then I'll hop back in and edit once again for a further couple of hours. Now, if I'm honest about how long it probably takes me to edit a YouTube video, I'm looking at anything between 4 to 6 hours, depending on length, complexity, because although it doesn't take me too long to get the edit down, it's adding all of the product shots, color grading all of those shots, and then also adding sound effects, background music, and little animations here and there to just increase the overall production quality. But all of those factors are sort of more advanced techniques that aren't essential to the bare bones of creating a YouTube video. And you could probably expect that it's going to take you ages, obviously, to create your first video and edit it because you've never done it and you don't have any form of a workflow for doing that. So don't be shocked that it maybe takes you a whole day to create your very first video.